Alright. Everybody will be woken up to the sound of the ship exiting the hyperlanes. You may now go cards up.
Good morning, Captain. The ship has exited hyperspace at our destination. I've also noticed that Unit Servant has been asleep within the security room for our travel.
I'll tell them to get to you next night. Thank you, computer. Yeah. Still getting acclimatized to the... I'm still getting acclimatized to this new conditions. Old. Alright, let's get the day started already. Don't think that I should be too concerned.
What's the options? I guess would probably be a better question.
Block of cereal?
I guess that'll work.
Amazing. Here's one that I created
Morning.
a few before we left.
Good morning.
So I had some downtime. Boop. There you go. Cereal block. Captain, cereal block.
Good morning, Captain.
Good morning. Whatever the highest calorie cereal block we have is. And coffee.
Very well. One cereal block made by yours truly. Enjoy, enjoy.
Thank you.
Beep, 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 beep. There you go, Captain. Enjoy.
Thank you, Chef.
Of course, of course. Good day, good day.
Chef,
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm curious to see what your highest potential is with nutrient blocks and cooking. Can you show me the best you have?
Probably check on the bridge before I do anything else. Sir. Good morning. Ugh.
Morning.
Good morning, Captain.
Chief Gunch. Good morning.
Close to our destination, I take it?
Believe so. Only a few hours by sublight. If I'm not mistaken. Or did we get bumped off course?
We're a little off course, but not by much. It's not really going to add anything to our time.
Good.
We're just outside the Kelton system.
So we entered into the Oort cloud of the system.
Yes.
Well, a few hours is better than a few days.
Given that we have nothing on the Kelton system, or at least virtually nothing, can't really chart any hyperlanes. But I suppose that's a part of my job.
Well, we're already in the Oort cloud. It'd be too risky to attempt a hyperlane jump from here.
Yeah. It's more so meant we're actually in the system.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna go make sure my apartment is on that feed.
A long night.
Something like that.
Here's to your health, and hopefully you get some better rest.
I have difficulty sleeping in new places, that's all, Captain.
I understand. Truth be told, the ship feels a little cold to me.
Oh?
Aye. Vulcan ships are designed with our psionics in mind. Usually we have interfaces that we can connect with psionically. Makes the ship feel alive. This place is all just a cold metal tomb.
Not meant to be comfortable, it's meant to function.
They didn't say it wasn't.
Fair enough.
Ugh.
Again, who's gonna take a ship that's not built for comfort?
True. I'm going to get on with the rest of my morning. I'll see you in a few more hours for the rest of the shift. Hopefully it's all smooth sailing.
Hopefully. I gotta find the rest of my department.
Hmm.
Maybe get some breakfast. Okay, Captain.
You as well.
I need absolute silence.
No, let him
Just
cook.
in time. I'm creating my most powerful.
It's detecting.
Please,
Let him cook.
absolute silence.
Perhaps next time. but I need to continue with my morning routines.
Captain,
Yes.
please. He's trying to cook.
Surprised that everyone's up early. Good show on it. Perhaps they're not as undisciplined as I thought. Expected as much with Argyle and Gunch, but Mercer even surprises me. Perhaps I shouldn't be too hard on everyone. Then again, I haven't exactly been hard yet. No one still knows who the man was during the war. And hopefully, they don't have to see that side of me. And if we're lucky, they will in the right context. I should probably test Gunch's metal today. If anything you'll respect, it's a good fight from one warrior to another to understand oneself. And if our chief of security can keep up with me, well, then that means that we have the right person for the job. I also need to remind everyone that they'll need to pick secondaries for their departments in case any of them are out. But on that, I should also keep Gunch from putting Argyle in such a position. It will work better. It will work better in the shadows. At least that's what I think. Then at the end, I never know. They could have at least added they could have at least added a fucking projection screen, or at least had it some viewpoint out to the void. Ugh. As effective as this ship is, it is so fucking cold. And again, humans do prefer function over form. Can't say I blame them. Not much faith anymore. Not their fault. But still. Perhaps they'd have more psionics. Or perhaps when they come into their psionics some more, maybe then they'll start building ships similar to ours. Ah. There you are. I was waiting to finish, but I might as well tell you. So the computer tells me that you've been sleeping in the security room for this transit.
Gunch took issue with me sleeping in the hallway. Said that I should sleep in the security.
Well, you should probably be sleeping in your own room with Mew. We have the space on the ship for a reason. I'd ask them which room they've
Might
picked.
be- Whose room am I to be stationed in?
MU. They're the, heavily augmented one. With the faceplate and, orange decals. Hard to miss. Protogen, I believe, is what they had on their dossier for species. They're your
I believe
bunk
that
mate.
one is rooming with someone else.
Are they? I thought they were with someone. I thought they were with you. Let me check something really quickly.
MU was with Natalia.
Interesting. I thought I assigned them someone else. Nevertheless, let me see. My own memory fails me on this. It's very crunched when I did it. No, you're with Archer. My apologies. Archer's not
The ship's pilot,
correct.
correct?
I think he's sleeping in right now. Can't remember which room he has chosen. but we'll figure it out later. Either way, after the end of the cycle here, I want you to be sleeping in your room.
Understood.
Is there anything else you needed from me?
Do you have any orders?
None thus far.
I'll go back to patrolling and watching cameras.
Very well. Can't look at that force field or else it gives my head an ache. I can understand the concern so early into our adventure, but still. We have a fighter for a reason, and missiles to resupply the ship's weapons should we ever have to use them. Where else are we supposed to store them? Most people can't lift one of those things by themselves to reload it. That's why we have trolleys. But I guess that's not good enough for Argyle. I'm going to need to have another one of those bars. Just trying to keep my mind occupied. I can feel the energy burning off of me. Mind if I want to keep myself healthy? Let's see our dude. Not much of our journey. And thus be written in the histories of all. Is something wrong?
Just mostly walking around trying to familiarize since we morning fog.
I understand that completely.
Not to mention having to re-look over some files to double check and make sure on certain things for certain people, so.
I see. Fair enough.
Okay. Don't like that.
Understood.
Nice seeing you, Cap.
You all as well. I've lost track. Alright, that's enough for now. Let's not woke me up a bit. Alright. Alright. Now that's done.
I mean, it's how theirs works, so yeah.
Just need to make certain you're not in any dangerous place.
We'll try.
Morning, officer.
Captain?
Captain,
Yes.
what I ran into. Just wanted to update you. If you see anything wrong with the ship manifesto in regards to our food situation, I brought it down to the bartender's request.
Hmm.
Angry what?
Just wanted to keep you in the loop.
Alright. Well, at least it's tracked. That's what's important.
Very updated the manifesto and everything.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the denotion.
Wait, are you calling the
Alright.
Any issues after our exit that I should know about?
Not that I'm aware of. I haven't done a scan of the ship yet. But, for the most part, things seem fine.
No. Once you and your team finish your diagnostics, let me know.
Yes, sir. Things whoever signed this do not have Vulcans in mind. Ugh. Alright. Let's get this shit show underway. All right. All right. All right. Let's get this underway. Good morning. You must be the engineer that I missed the other day, the one who was ill?
Yeah. Warmer climates just kind of mess with me.
I understand the feeling. I come from a tundra world myself, so the cold is always appreciated when I can get it.
I was able to compromise with my roommate and make the room slightly chilled.
Good. At least that's acceptable. You're rooming with Argyle, right?
I believe so.
Good. Argyle's good. Trustworthy man. And remind me what your name was?
Costa.
Costa?
Brandy. Nice to meet you.
A pleasure.
Yes.
Well, I won't keep you from your work. Welcome aboard, by the way.
Thank you.
Dr. Tally, are
Hello.
you acclimatizing
Good
to
morning.
the ship?
I believe I am getting used to things. The gravity is a bit different, so it was quite the surprise. However, I believe I am doing well. Thank you for your inquiry. One of my own. Are we currently still traveling? I feel motion.
Currently, we are still in transit. The hyperlane, due to its
Yes.
unmapped nature, we were only able to access into the Oort cloud of the system. But we should be there in a
I
couple
see.
of hours, roughly estimating.
Of course. So we are still traveling at sublight speeds.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Let me know if I can do anything for you.
Of course.
Oh, Captain, may I walk with you?
Uh,
Walk and talk.
Sure. What's on your mind, Chef?
See, I've had some complaints, you see.
Oh?
When I was chartered for the ship, I was told that my food should be peak of the efficiency. Hence why you took me, with my specialty being the nutrients block.
Right.
However, these people seem to seek real food, they call it. They don't understand the intricacies of some kind of efficient, perfect meal. I was wondering if you could maybe talk to them at some point.
Well, we have to keep in mind it's still very early in our travels. They're probably just homesick and missing a hot meal every once in a while. You can't blame them for that.
Well, I can make the nutrients block hot if they wish.
True. Zhuzh them up a bit, as the humans would say.
Yes, Captain. The nondescript block of fish that we shall be having later, or fish substitute, I shall bread it and fry it in the great appliance.
I mean, it's hot, so can't really complain on that. I'm not sure if fish is a good idea. The heat in that thing, but
Fish eat fish all the time.
true. I won't keep you from doing your job then. You're the chef, not
Also, they
me.
insulted my cooking.
How did they insult your cooking?
They accused me of not making the crisps.
The crisps.
Yes, a bag of chips, they call it.
Ah. The potato starch things.
Yes, yes. Quite the hit on many of these residential planets, you see.
Well.
Oh, also that fish. Someone might need to keep an eye on them. You see, they ate these chips for dinner last night and requested them again for breakfast, refusing any kind of nutrients block. And I said they should go and get checked out by medical, but they used their station at medical to bypass this. So they might not be getting a proper diet, and I'm afraid they might perish if they keep this up.
That's a genuine concern, and I appreciate you bringing it to them. But I'm sure 1 or 2 meals missed of just chips, if that's what they're having. Perhaps they're doing an intermittent snacking sort of deal.
I shall keep an eye, but yes. Thank you for listening, Captain.
Of
I will
course.
keep you.
You have a good day, Chef.
This one, yes. Goodbye.
Oh.
Oh, my apologies.
You're alright.
Captain?
Officer Milan, Engineer Roll.
Yes?
I was just saying hello.
Good day.
Last year, I heard over the radio. How is the weapons?
We did a check over it. The smaller carts have been secured on this lower level. The cart up there has been secured to the railing so it doesn't go flying off. That cart is designated to go into that gate over there with meshes holding it in. That is the safest way for, I haven't really been able to break them apart and see how they function to know if it is a pressure detonation or a timer detonation.
Well, understood. As long as they're secure, that's the important part. Good work.
Also, Commander Gravage is looking for you. He just went up the other.
Well, thank you for letting me know. I was going to be looking for him as well. Thank you, Tashir.
Of course.
Captain?
Chief Gunch, I heard you were looking for me.
I was. Just had a few questions about what we are, well, our objective, as it were. I would hear any and all. I understand that intel is scarce, but whatever we do know about what we're going towards, I'd like to know, so we can better prepare for it.
The information on the coach here is scarce. All I know is we've only come into contact with them recently. Small transmission frequencies were the first delegation to actually be sent on UPA terms. Right now we're in transit. Still. Hyperlane only took us to the edge of the art cloud. Didn't want to risk entering the system and crashing into something since we haven't mapped it out yet. Right now what
That was a smart approach.
we're hoping to achieve is to at least grant passage between the Kochi systems. That way we'll be able to track the hyperlanes across it. Hopefully,
I see.
we'll find a few new ones within the Kelton system. After which we continue on our way from there, going to the new systems and scanning them, bringing back the data. Simple tasks.
Captain?
Hmm.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I also, when next time we might need to talk to the head of science, I have found a grave issue on this ship.
And that is?
Your ship's main operating system is Windows Vista.
What?
You have an operating system that predates FTL travel.
I thought the humans were skilled engineers and they still didn't update us? Alright.
No, but I'm going to tell you this right now. Martello had standards when it came to something like this, and that's saying a lot.
Look, I'm not a shipbuilder. I'm not a computer
understand
scientist. So, I'll trust the judgment.
I'm just bringing that up.
I'll bring it up with Archer and Dallas and see if they can work on an update or something to get us back up to standard. I
Don't
appreciate
worry,
you letting
I'm
me
gonna
know.
find Dallas myself first.
Get-
Oh, wonderful work from the UPA. How nice.
Yes, something seems off though. Care to have a walk with me real quick?
I'm right behind you.
Shiny person?
With glimmer. Ink is.
But from what I understand, this is the first time we're having, other than our the transmissions, this time we're having proper face-to-face contact then, hmm?
That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
That is what's on the book, at least. I'm hoping someone else is better at talking than I am. Don't exactly have a history with peaceful negotiating.
My job very rarely involved it at all.
Hey. Before this...
If I was there,
Hmm?
peace was never an option. Oh, the option for it has already passed.
I see. I was in a similar boat. I was a boarder for one of the battleships in the Vlachen fleet. So if I was on your ship, you knew that it was over.
An exciting job, it seems like.
Exciting.
Up close and personal.
Exciting. Dangerous. Vlachen aren't exactly known for destabilizing a ship or disabling it before we actually board. We tend to have drill pods ready and fire them at them. And these pods contain the boarders.
An interesting tactic.
Yes, and very deadly if we miss. Luckily, there are some rocket systems installed, and we help guide them with psionics, but... Either way. Risky, but the reward usually pays off, and we very rarely miss.
A much safer bet than trying to prod at a weak point like an airlock if you actually hit your target.
That's correct, or disabling
Why
the engines.
Why use the weak point that's already there when you can just make your own?
Precisely. Usually we detonated the cores. That is, if we didn't want to cause more problems. Fire on enemy ships, gain shield frequencies, anything. Then again, I was mostly the brute force that was breaking down bulkheads to get in, but... Either way. Usually I was not there for peace. Aye. So, I'd like to ask you a few things.
I would hear it.
What do you think of the crew so far?
So far, they all seem like a bunch of well-to-do, well-meaning people. Which I am taking with a grain of salt, because anyone on their first day on a ship, intentions notwithstanding, would act that way. I don't exactly suspect anybody directly, but I keep an eye open. The last thing we need on this ship is a dissident one way or another.
Couldn't agree with you more. I'll be honest, it's very uncomfortable for me. I'm going to be relying on your team to be eyes and ears for me. This ship is not built to what I'm used to. Usually I can feel most of the crew's emotions and thoughts through our psychic links. This ship has none of them. So I'm going to rely on the vigilance of security to keep an eye out on things.
I have expressed my, well, suspicion, even if it's not warranted, to the rest of my crew. In the sense that they too should be looking out for anyone that might mean trouble. And that includes one another.
Agreed.
But Argyle is continuing to work through the dossier to ensure that everyone passes a reasonable check. I regret to inform you, though, that he has been delayed. As the, traveling as far out as we have, data transfer has gotten slower, though he has not been able to complete it quite yet.
Well, if he needs it, I'll give him I'll give him a hard copy of what I have.
Whatever might help make his job easier.
I trust Argyle more than enough to handle those dossiers with care, and to find anything that I might have missed.
He was very capable.
That being said, I am a bit curious as to why the EPA has decided to leave certain camera systems out, primarily in the reactor room.
It is suspicious. While we do have the camera pointed at its entrance, not the only way in.
True. No. And if you had someone who knows the vents well, it could lead to a problem that way.
My point exactly. Last thing we need is blind spots.
Agreed.
I know engineering was... I believe they said something about installing more, but... Still, better to patch those up sooner than later, and we'll actually face threats, should they come to pass. I'd be quite disappointed if we didn't end up in some kind of trouble.
More than
Would
likely
make for
will
a
be.
boring voyage.
True. Well, then again, we're exploring unknown reaches. We have no clue what we're going to run into. But, that being said, readiness is going to be our lifesavers.
I agree full-heartedly. Hence why I was coming you to ask what we know of the people we are going to encounter. If it is truly nothing, then we should operate under the assumption that they may very, very well be dangerous should peace talk, diplomacy, turn sour.
Hoping it doesn't come to that. We're actually keeping in mind we're only one vessel against an entire species.
And if they're capable of throwing out transmissions as far as they have, they surely are more capable.
We'll take a steps
travel
away.
like we are.
Well, there's hoping, but you never know.
Who knows? They could be incredibly primitive. Like my home planet.
It's true. I don't think I've ever actually seen one of your species before. No offense.
None taken. My people are not exactly spacefaring. At least, not much. Other than a couple visits from some of the corporations trying to prod their interest in our, I would say, poor planet. Very rarely do we see the stars up close. I am only here by sheer luck. Snuck off on a Cultura ship coming to try and solve our own food crises for their own gain. They sent diplomats. I disguised myself as one of those. Ironic, seeing that I've never done a moment of diplomacy in my life. First station I got to, I was gone. I was sick of the planet. I was ready to...
Interesting. What's your world like?
Quite varied. At least it was, from what I hear. Most of it, at least most of the mainland, it's quite war-torn. Many of whatever forests, jungles that once stood, many of which have been burned, bombed, shelled, so many countless times over the last 200 years. They're barely recognizable. Some few small sanctuaries still exist, though you mostly find them on islands sitting in the middle of the water. My planet's been locked in a endless war between different states, all vying to rebuild an empire that died a long time ago. It's fruitless, really. That's why I left. I was part of that fight myself. Leading my own army. And for what? To just kill endlessly and gain nothing? No peace to see at the end? There was no point in saying. There was no end in sight. So here I came, to the stars to put my talents to more productive work, I like to think.
Well, leaving one's home, even being as torn as you say it is, it's never an easy task. And acclimatizing to an entirely new culture, I can only imagine.
Don't get me wrong, I did not take leaving my own planet lightly. It was a tough decision. Though, what few family I had, I think they would have understood. Not that I got to see them very much once I joined service. But I think if they learned, they would. Hell, they might have done the same thing in my position. I try not to dwell on it. And believe me, adjusting from a place like mine to a place like this is... well, it took time. But I think I have a good grip these days.
So the stellar shock wore off quickly for you then?
Well, quickly as in maybe 10 to 8 years.
Sounds about standard. One of the races we helped save from Medico. Whole reason the exploitation war started. They didn't get used to things for a while. Took them about 20 years. Then again, that's what happens when Medico bombs your world with virus bombs. See how effective they are.
With that being your first introduction to, well, those in the Interstellar, I can't imagine they would have adjusted well, no.
No. Swartz says they were one of our sanctuary worlds, so Medico came into our own territory, a vessel similar to this, and, well, left their gifts. Cure was demanded, but they never sent one, so we made our own. And by made our own, I mean we beat them. Until they had to call in Centurion for help. That really dragged out the war for a while.
Another long war. Even out in the stars, you can't escape that kind of cycle, it seems.
No.
I had hoped that that might have been the case, but no.
Unfortunately not. So what drives you now?
Drives me now.
I mean, you left your home for a reason. You were tired of the fighting, you were tired of the wars. Now you come into a new place, a new realm, all of this strange existence out here. Something has to inspire that.
Initially, my thought was just leave. That was the first thing that drew me. But a part of me wanted to believe that there's something else out there, you know. I wanted to know what was out there. Call it curiosity. But there is so much this universe hides from us. Sorry, I hear the computer talking.
You were saying?
Yes. There are a lot of things out there. A part of me hopes that perhaps one corner of this universe is untouched by the endless cycle of suffering that I seem to see everywhere I look so far. I don't know. Whether or not I would stay there, well, I find most of my drive comes from what I'm good at. Combat. War. It's practically all I've known. But I think one day, when I'm too old to continue doing such a thing, that I could sit in a nicer place.
Well, it's far more peaceful, well, rest, I should say, than what we usually get, so. I hope we find it for you. Truly.
I hope so as well. But I am not holding my breath. As I've said, the universe has shown me otherwise so far. And so I adjust. But you can still hold out hope even the bleakest moments. That I learned in war.
All
There's
very
always
true.
a chance.
One spirit contributes everything. A small thought out in the immaterium could be the difference between fantasy and reality. You never know.
Now that is something I have not adjusted to well quite yet, as I've only seen it so sparsely. Psionics and all that, you know. That is still very alien.
Argyle?
Argyle?
Captain, he's not head of engineering, his name is Dallas, he's a science officer.
Yes.
He's proposed an update to the main operating system of the entire vessel.
I see. Interesting. And who will be performing this update? I assume he wishes to do so?
That is correct.
Tell him to workshop it for now. Or shelve it for a bit. I want Archer assisting him with it. After all, we have 2 computer experts. I'd rather them look it over.
Well, I see him again, I'll let him know, but he's likely looking for you right now.
I see. Well, either way, if you don't get to him, I'll tell him myself.
Chief. There was a request made by Rawl. Perhaps we should gather all of security and go over what each of us is capable of. Ensure we know each other's weaknesses.
I think that's a good idea. Once I have wrapped things up here with the captain, I will head down to security and summon you all.
Allow me to join y'all. After all, my skill set mostly fits within the department, so should be interesting. Plus, I'd like to see what the security team can do.
Very well. Let's see to it then.
Captain, my deepest apologies. The work on the dossier is going much slower than I had anticipated. Likely take another day or 2.
Alright. I assume it's just because you're being thorough, so. I have no concerns.
I am attempting to be thorough, but The farther we get away from the core planets, closer to the rim, the farther that data needs to travel. It's taking a lot longer than I'm used to.
If it becomes too much of a headache for you, let me know. I'll give you a hard copy of what I have.
I do suspect that the UPA probably has left holes. We have seen it already in the way they have operated and left this ship to us. Would not surprise me if they overlooked a few things that came to the crew aboard this ship.
It wouldn't surprise me either. I'm honestly surprised that they have a operating system for science so dated. I mean, granted, sometimes older tech is harder to breach because people don't understand it anymore, but to be so careless for a vessel that's exploring, something seems off. I'll be honest. If my intuition says anything, it's put me at unease. But then again, that could just be where we're at.
Perhaps I just chalked it up to, well, negligence by the UPA. Using what they had on hand. After all, they're known for it.
Doesn't strike me, though, as them usually. Especially on a vessel of such delicate nature when it comes to traveling and exploration. You would think that they would keep everything up to date and, well, give us the latest at least. As uncomfortable as the ship is. Spiritually, I should say, but...
Apologies for interrupting your conversation. I'll leave you both to it. I'll meet you back in the security room, Chief.
I'll see you there. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Well.
So no one has psionics where you're from? At all?
Not that I saw. Not really.
Interesting.
If they did, I never saw it. Just never... Not something we knew of. Primitive as we were. Not that we were fighting sticks and stones or anything. But... still.
No shamans, no the rune priests, nothing?
I think you're taking the word primal a little more literally. We had understood ballistics, you know. Think that kind of technology.
Oh, I didn't mean...
Ballistics, electricity...
Oh, I didn't mean any insult.
Oh.
That's what we call our own priests. We have shamans that teach the young ones how to manifest and control their abilities. Rune priests are those who inscribe the ships with psionic runes that allow us to feel through it.
We had no such thing. If we did, sometime in the last 200 years, someone would have figured out how to use that to an advantage. Hell, they might have won, from what I hear these psionics can accomplish.
It can be done. A lot can be done with it, but it's all about making sure you show restraint. I believe the humans have a term for it, similar to the phrase, what is it? Brilliance tempered by compassion. Aggression tempered by mind is what we usually use.
I think we had a similar sentiment, at least to the second one. A saying, though it was in my language. Doesn't exactly translate directly, but it comes close.
More than fair.
Regardless, I'm sure I'll learn more of these psionics the more I spend on the ship, as you seem quite familiar with them.
Well, there's a reason there's a reason our ships are so integral with them. They're pretty much our entire culture. We didn't,
So let's see.
we didn't have war amongst ourselves, really. We understood the strength of packs and clans in our early days, but we were a very communal species overall. We have a feeling that something combined with our solar radiation has a link to it, but we haven't been able to prove anything to a T yet. But almost all of my race are psionic, or at least latent.
I'm surprised such a thing would beget peace, as it were. Then again, I come from a different place. Perhaps I am stuck in that mindset that we have.
Well, psionics are interesting. A sort of bridge between the mind and, well, the material and the immaterial, I should say. Our own scientists have seen evidence that, well, despite genetics playing a role in it, psionics also have a spiritual essence to them. Though we don't know to what extent yet. But when you can feel the pain you're causing another being, you don't want to make war, usually amongst your own.
Suppose that makes sense. Such a thing breeds empathy on a much more literal level.
Yes.
Captain?
Dallas? Argyle said you wish to speak with me?
Yes, I want to let you know that I'm going to be working on that operating system for the next week or so.
Alright.
I'll be putting all my effort into it.
Good.
A couple of late niners, but nothing some instant coffee won't fix.
Alright. He also told you I want Archer and you working on it once Archer's functional again.
Yes.
Good.
I'll see if I can also get some other hands from the department to help out. But, yeah, we'll make sure it's done as soon as possible.
Right. 2 minds are better than 1. So.
Agreed.
Wish you both luck, and I thank you for bringing it to our attention.
They should thank him. He's the one who brought it to my attention.
Well, he did. Again, thank you, Gro. Good catch.
Mew was the one who was operating it and caught it. I just brought it up more.
Well, it sounds like all of engineering needs a good commendation for it.
Well, Captain.
Any sign of the bartender yet?
Seems engineering is doing well for themselves and for us.
Yes, they're keeping a good up on it. It's a shame so many things are down or outdated that they have to work on them so frequently now already. It's only our 2nd day in transit.
PA's ever so careful hands, huh?
Like I said, it doesn't strike me as them. Especially seeing as the 2 founders, or 2 of the core founders, are my own people in humanity. Humanity, like I said earlier, are gifted engineers. I don't know why they would leave us with such a, lacking vessel.
I would...
Mark, sir, are you behind us?
That it is simply...
Yes. I said captain.
I didn't hear you.
Jeff? This might be an issue in the future, so I figured I'd tell you. Apparently, according to MU, they did a scan of the exterior of the ship. Everything's fine except for the thermal panels are not functioning. They don't seem to be on. It's not something that we can really fix until we're docked. But if we don't stop somewhere at some point, it could freeze up the ship, maybe freeze the engines if we're not careful.
Understood.
It's just something to monitor for now. Figured I'd let you know because they do need to be replaced. It's going to be expensive.
Fair enough. Right now, in case if anything should arise, until we can get docked and have them looked at thoroughly. If we have to, vents off some of the extra heat to the engines, that way they can defrost should we see any increase of ice on it.
Understood.
Thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Yes, sir.
And just as we were speaking of shortcomings on the ship.
Exactly. It's... The UPA has its reputations for both good and bad. However, this seems like, dare I say it, intentional incompetence, it feels.
Or to what end?
I don't know.
Inconvenience us.
I don't know why they would want to inconvenience us. We're going into the deep unknown of space. What's the point of it? Even if you gave us your most advanced ship in the fleet, you're still essentially rendering us in a temporary exile, or possibly permanent if things go poorly. Just doesn't seem to make any sense. Why guarantee a failure of a mission? But that's all speculative.
Awesome. Incredibly speculative. Again, it could all just be negligence. Little mistakes made by different people that did not communicate correctly. Or... But I think it best to operate under the assumption that such things were intended, so that we may prepare for what it might wrong.
Agreed.
The vacuum's too loud. I can go get the mop instead. Okay, if that's the case, I can leave.
Oh good, the janitor's up in here. It's getting dusty.
Do you want me to leave for your discussion, or should I go ahead and vacuum?
I think it best you exit for now, but you may come back later and continue your dust sucking.
Okay.
Right then. Attention security, this is Gunch. If you would all report to the security room for a meeting. Over and out. And they should all be on their way then.
Yes, I believe Officer Roll just stepped away for a moment. Sure they will be back soon.
Hopefully so.
There's some information that I have gathered,
Gary?
Chief.
What would that be?
Something that we should probably be aware of. There's a member of the medical staff. The name was Meyer. Who looked like an ooze or a gelatin of some type. You may have seen them. They do have a condition for which, if their energy levels drop, they will faint. If that is the case, we should feed them biomatter. Again, this is a matter of security. If we find them unconscious outside in the hallways, we'll at least know how to better help them.
Not to mention, to better know that it wasn't some assailant that knocked them down, it's their own biology that did so.
But precisely. Another note, apparently they have a core within them that if you touch on accident, it might cause them to go a little berserk. Yep.
This is also good
Interesting.
to know. Could likely inform the crew of such a thing so that we do not have a incident.
I believe that medical is already aware of her condition. As long as security understands, neither engineering nor science should be meddling with this individual.
I suppose not. I would hope the crew does not go around poking others in different places. But I digress. I believe other than Roll, this is all of us. But on Argyle's suggestion, we thought it would be prudent that we together go over our skills, what we are best at, and how we may best be of use to one another.
Precisely.
So,
I will go first. as
Understandable.
It was my suggestion. My particular skill set is in intelligence. However, I do excel at more covert activities. Thanks to engineering, my cloaking device is now active. I don't do well in close quarters brawling. My specialty, well, is in small arms, thus my 2 firearms. Fortunately, being a member of the Crow today, my people, we have this nasty habit of having hollow bones. A heavy blow with a blunt weapon will prove more deadly to me than maybe some, which is why I tend to stay out of the melee.
duly noted. I'll be sure to remember that. And I'll be sure not to express my appreciation how I did to Dallas the other day.
That would be very appreciative, yes.
Wait, what did I miss?
However, a punch like that may not end my life. It may fracture a rib or two.
I will suffice for the human way of doing it. By simply speaking.
One other note, and I express this to all members of security, as I trust you all implicitly to ensure the security of this ship. Should be no surprise that I am a member of Oracle and one of their intelligence officers. I have been assigned this station in conjunction with Oracle and UPA working together. What that also means is my abilities as a psionic could also prove useful. Again, this stays between only security, and I know the captain already knows. My psionic abilities I suppress as best I can in order to maintain a level of secrecy for others who may be able to detect such thoughts. But mine are mostly mental. If an individual is causing us problems, I could attempt to influence their mind to put down a weapon, let's say.
useful skill to have.
The more impersonal front, someone is lying. And if I feel it necessary, I could attempt to discern if that lie is accurate or not. Through my psionic abilities, it is awfully intrusive, but effective.
It beats having to beat the truth out of someone. Better to just know.
That is what I bring to the table here for security.
Well, good. Very good. Who would like to go next? Oh! Roll, you're here. Perfect, you're next.
What are we doing?
We are going over one another's skills, background, things they're good at so we may better work as a team.
I understand.
So please,
I am a
indulge
melee
us.
specialist. I excel in trauma with my head or my hammer. I also know a bit of psionics. That is about it. I am very hard to put down.
As I learned yesterday.
Okay. Just making sure this is still working.
Well, good. Good, good. How about you? Go next.
I've been trained in long-range single-target elimination and infiltration, unseen and undetected. I've been given to the ship by my commander, Narsa, to be used as I am most efficient.
We shall complement each other greatly then.
Indeed. Well. What about you, Delon, if you would?
I am I used to be a squad leader in military forces. My own specialty lies in ranged weaponry, mostly on the heavier side. Autocannons, launchers, the like. I have also a good eye when it comes to suppressive fire. Thus, in combat situation, that is usually my focus. I make sure my team members are able to move up with less worries as I suppress the opponents with large amount of firepower.
Very
Though,
good.
of course, right now, the largest weaponry I have is my own assault rifle.
Well, maybe next time we dock, we might be able to get something a little heavier for you. You familiar with the use of artillery by any means? Just curious.
Not artillery, no.
Pity.
That is more on the technicality of the figuring out the aiming and all that. That
Yes,
is a
yes, it is.
different sort of mentality.
Quite a learned field, I understand. But good to know, regardless. Dashir. If you would.
I am explosives expert, and I am not very good with hand-to-hand. I'm still getting used to these cybernetics. I am more built of agility, as the manual of these have stated to me. I'm okay with a gun. What is it? My biology allows me to breathe in any kind of air material, essentially any gas or sort of a thing. So if there is a area that you all may not be able to get into due to limitations of oxygen, I will be able to help assist. Other than that, I have no other idea what to say. Oh, wait, no, sorry, I kinda, brain fumbled. I am from a planet that is heavily maintained by Martello, and I was essentially a prisoner for them. That is my, I guess, background.
She blew up a space mafia building. That is hilarious.
I concur.
It is pretty funny.
You know, the miscalculation in chemicals, I did not mean to go overboard.
Well, just don't make any miscalculations while you're on the ship, huh?
Hopefully, I'll learn.
Missiles excellently.
I'll learn from mistake, I see. Trial by fire.
And well, Captain, I'm not sure if you want to let the rest of the team know, since you might be working closely with us here.
Fair enough. I mostly deal with melee ranged and assault, ground force and frontal assault, as well as I primarily operate with psionics. Barriers, slight mental manipulations, psionic bursts, pretty much anything that exists in the field I can do.
Impressive.
Downsides, though, when too energized, I can get a bit jumpy. I also tend to not exactly show quarter once I start a fight, so
I understand.
there's a fair warning.
As do I. Well then, that's everyone. Then I would
Yourself?
introduce myself, as it were. Yes, not introduce, but on my home planet, I was a leader of sorts. We called them a Putakai, a commander of many. My specialty lies in tactics, coordinating large forces to accomplish greater goals. Now, this force is rather small, but it is still a very similar playing field. I very much understand how to coordinate different individuals. I feel confident in my abilities to come up against any force, large, small. It does not matter. Tactics. That is what I'm good at. As for my personal capabilities, I am quite talented in hand-to-hand combat. I do not use a melee weapon. I much prefer to use my claws and hands for such things. Much more versatile and no less powerful. Firearms are something else that I am quite familiar with, though in my days as a Putakai, if I was using my gun, something had already gone wrong, so... Still. Hence why I carry a more close-range weapon. But that is me, in short. And hopefully with us knowing each other's strengths here, we should be better able to coordinate as a team and work together to face whatever threats we might encounter.
Agreed.
Aye.
From what I can
Certainly.
see, we have 3 close range specialists, 2 medium range specialists, and 2 unique specialists.
It's a very good spread of different skills. One I am very glad to have under my command. I see us accomplishing great things. But with that, unless anyone else has anything else they'd like to note, you are all dismissed.
We should take inventory of the crew, who can be an asset as well. Much like Dallas talked to us earlier.
Indeed. Like I mentioned, there is a time where we may have to call upon them as a sort of militia. Like when we have to arm them in the case of emergencies.
It will also be useful to know how they can defend themselves if they are to be sent with security on expeditions outside. Or for any other
Indeed.
reasons.
Although,
How much we need to puppy guard them, as it were.
paramount on the ship, to make sure that we have complete cooperation, they need to know that they can trust us, above all else. That's what we should be fostering first, before we focus on armamenting them in case of the emergency. I understand the sentiment of wanting to be planned ahead, but I definitely think that if we have them on our side as confidants, then that will lead us to, well, assured victory. Trust is the cornerstone of what makes this ship function, as I said earlier, when we first boarded. If we cannot trust each other, then we're all doomed to die in the first place. Security will be the cornerstone of that. They trust
With that
us.
in mind, then. Oh,
I had no more.
well, with that in mind, then, as you all go to interact and see these other crew members, maybe learn of what they're good at, well, keep that in mind, that they need to be on our side as well. Be nice to them. Be firm, but fair. Make sense?
I shall make them my best friend.
This is also
Your
acceptable.
best friend.
All of them.
But the friendlier they are to you,
best
the
friends.
friendlier they are to us in turn, I'm sure.
It's
Set a good example. Put off a good first impression.
Might I make a suggestion as well? If you have special medical needs, rare blood type, etc., perhaps taking a visit to medical to donate your blood so that they have a stock on hand in case the worst should happen.
Fair point.
A good thing to keep in mind. I saw your finger raising, Chia. Did you have something to say?
Kind of a thing that I probably forgot. It probably should be noted, kind of a thing. I am prone to violent tendencies. If that ever does happen, just pop off my limbs. They're kind of just release limbs. Yeah. You can just
Just gonna pull it off.
use those.
Good to
Interesting
know.
design.
They had it just in case I ever acted out, so they could just take it off and I don't do anything.
Do not play with others' limbs. That is rude.
That's horrendous.
It's don't worry about it.
Security measure.
But good to know your weakness should you become an issue. But let us hope that you
If
do
you want
not.
to outright kill me, shoot my chest.
We do not plan on such a thing.
No.
I made it very clear on the first day that we are not going to be killing any of our own crew members. Under just about any circumstance. Well. Anyone else have something they need to say? Hearing none? Go about your day then.
Yes, Chief.
Yes, Chief.
I do
Maybe
have
I shall
some to say,
go
but
donate some blood.
This is the larger conversation here.
This morning, it's
But the
feels like a
one
good
of the
idea.
medical
just in case.
one, Akira, as for sparring.
That is thinking
some
ahead.
device, we use the weapon, the pole arms there, and then
Some of the crew was inquiring about range time.
Range time?
Yes, Chef was actually asking for if he will be allowed to be taught how to use a weapon. Not specifically how to talk, but at least told how one functions in case it ever comes up. Though I feel, I do not know how it's going to work with the fact that he sees his cooking implement as nothing but.
Cooking implement.
I think.
I feel like trying to teach him actual weapon
microwave an
usage. He's going to
individual at
just
400 feet is a weapon.
believe we are tricking him or something. We will see. But at least he knows.
I was the one that brought up thinking about how to use a actual gun within a case scenario.
Jesper, right?
Yes.
Question for you. Do you happen to hear anything interesting while wandering the halls?
No, not really.
Alright. Well, if you hear any idle chatter, let me know. I like to keep tabs on everyone, make sure everything's shipshape. Alright. I won't keep you then.
Oh, by the way,
Hmm.
Do you want me to clean your room?
Shouldn't need it right now, but I appreciate the offer. It's only been a day. If I fucked it up already that badly, and I have different issues I should be worrying about.
I mean, I've come across some places that were probably ignored by whoever was using the ship last, or maybe during construction. I don't know how new the ship is.
I try to keep things clean for myself. Personal nitpick, but again, I appreciate it. Although, if you wouldn't mind checking up on the other rooms, make sure they're shipshape. I know a lot of Try to hit engineering's rooms first. I know they're very busy with all the lacking components of our current predicament, so cleanliness of their rooms might not be the toppest priority, so if you wouldn't mind. Dr. Tally?
Hello, Captain.
I did actually wish to speak with you. We never had the chance to properly talk. Yet, at least.
I see. What is it you would like to speak about?
Just wanted to compliment your work on the Anok research.
Of course.
It served as a cornerstone for my own. Go on.
I see. Well, you flatter me. It was not too difficult to do so once we were actually in the field.
Which site were you operating on?
I believe it was the number 13 site.
Never had the luxury to be there when I was going for my degree.
Oh. What were you studying in?
Believe it or not, ancient cultures. Specifically specializing in the Anok themselves. After all, they were a psionically gifted race, so we figured it would prove pertinent to my own development as an individual.
I see. I'm a bit... We saw in translated texts of this psionics. However, we have developed no way of testing them. We are uncertain if it is a spiritual belief, or if it is another name for technology that we were unable to recover any of.
Interesting. Now, the private Vlokin site actually does have some of the old tech from there. It's actually how we developed most of our ship sets and weapons.
I see. We do not focus on weaponry or anything of that kind.
Oh? What is it that your people focus on, primarily?
Technological discovery. Trying to unravel the mysteries of the universe.
Noble goal.
Everything that it has to. Yes. Somebody has to do it, I suppose.
Well. Sometimes not everything is just numbers and photons. It's a bit of mystery to it all.
There is indeed, in some of my research, I have came across artifacts where, upon my touch, without my suit on, upon touching it, it was difficult to explain. It is like I was a different place.
I see. This place feel disconnected from your own body, yet connected in a way.
It is like I was Myself, just a different location. Different people.
I see.
Different languages. This is one of the reasons as we know the Antioch's dialect.
I see. Interesting. I'd love to pick your brain on some of them.
As long as you do not physically do so.
Oh,
I'm
no.
perfectly fine discussing matters with you.
Figure of speech, shall we say.
I see. That would be rather unpleasant.
Oh, yes, it definitely would be. Although, well, not lethal, depending on how you do it.
This is true. From what we have been able to tell, most, apologies. My head went a bit fuzzy for a moment.
I see.
We are going into a place of unknown nature to both, to the entirety of the UPA, correct?
Correct.
I see. And perhaps that is something that will help all of us. Both in research, in studies, and even in weaponry.
Well, the ultimate goal, at least in the Vlokin perspective, is that weapons will eventually be put down. That's what we hope for.
But why have the need to pick them up in the first place?
Because sometimes we don't ask for a fight. We don't ask to go to war. My people actually never fought amongst themselves. We're communal species. Granted, we had our own separate packs and everything, but we would fight, but we'd never kill each other. We developed war out of necessity. There are some horrors out there that no one should fear. That and, well, with the remnants of the Anok running around, their children, their former subsidiaries, from what we can trace back, they don't exactly play nicely with everyone else. So any technological edge we can get to keep up with them, I think, is a win.
This is true. We have not had war in my system for quite a long time.
A rarity in these times.
Well. This was before I was here. Before I had taken up the charge.
Charge?
The charge that all of us take. The help pursuit. The help in the pursuit of knowledge. For the greater good.
A sort of pilgrimage?
No. Everyone. All of us. We're all scientists. Engineers. Researchers. In our own ways. You find what you are good at, and you do that.
Interesting.
Yes. It is how I have found what I love to do. And it is how I help the best that I can.
Well, Your dissertation definitely helped me get through a few lectures, so I thank you for that.
Once again, your flattery is very well thanked, but not needed.
Well, credit where it's due. Brilliance should be recognized, and your contributions are a major progression point to understanding ancient history. So, take the
That's all we can
compliment.
ever hope for.
I won't keep you any further. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.
Of course. And if you have any other questions, I am always here.
Of course. Same for
Probably
me
if
as
there's
well.
anywhere else I can go.
Fair enough. Perhaps one day we'll be working on a dig site together. Should prove interesting.
I would like that very much.
As would I. Nope. Cutting through science.
Yes?
Hello, Captain.
Captain, I think you need to talk to your head of
appreciate
security.
engineering so much.
I was
Here to tell me.
contemplating different titles for the individuals, the heads of the different groups. Decided against it.
So, what was Mercer talking about, saying I needed to speak with you?
Me?
That's what he said. He said I might need to have a word with you.
Oh, well, he didn't really have a word. He just did not appreciate me showing my appreciation to MU. That's all he said.
So I keep hearing about this appreciation. What I don't understand what's going on. Why would it be frowned upon?
It is simply a cultural. You're not supposed to ask typically, as back home it was simply a simple tradition. Not the whole planet, mind you, just a local Ventai thing. Something I was born into. And something that I did with siblings, friends, elders, relatives, so to speak.
Well, guess it's just chalk it up to a cultural difference. Nothing more. They're bound to happen. Mercer can get over it.
I am sure. You see, I've become accustomed to asking, as it was habit for so long. It has proven to be troublesome in a couple different scenarios. I found myself in, we'll call them sticky situations.
Well, I trust your judgment, so. And it seems you have a firm grasp on the understanding of it, so. I'm not worried. Just figured I'd ask what he was talking about.
Well, sometime, perhaps, I can show you.
Perhaps when the time calls for it. Siri, in here.
Is what?
They go by servant. I've been calling them Siri since... Ah, there they are.
Oh, servant.
Would you mind coming with me real quick? I have a task for you.
Right away.
Mercer, I spoke with Gunch. It seems like it's just a cultural misunderstanding. Won't happen again.
I get that, but some people around here are more fragile than others.
I understand. But hopefully now we can at least spread the word of what it is. I still don't know what it is, but if it's that bad, then...
Alright then.
Well... So... how do you get it behind us? How the fuck did you get there?
Going for me, Captain.
Yeah, how the fuck did you get there? You're behind us. How did you end up down there that quickly?
I walked. It's a straight shot.
Alright, I guess I'm just not paying attention. Wasn't sure if you were crawling through the vents.
No comment.
I see. Understood. Oh, actually. We'll get to him later. What I would like for you to do is... anyone you think is suspicious or seems a bit off, shadow them. Primarily, I'm looking at Dallas right now. Seems to be catching a lot of bugs in our systems. Very eager, that one. Young, possibly naive, but I'd rather know anything to be better safe than sorry.
Understood.
Yes. Like I said, use your judgment. Also, if Argyle gives you any names that he thinks are suspicious, trail them for him. Or work with him and coordinate the trailing of it. Other than that, I don't have anything further for you.
Understood.
Thank you for your time.
It is always yours.
Now, on to my next part. Chief Engineer Mercer, I actually do have something to request of you.
What's that?
You have those vents pretty well down pat?
They should be fine.
I meant movement.
I was making a joke before. I don't use them.
Either way. I'd still like you to trail them out. Make sure that in case there is ever a breach of security or there is a boarding, we don't have people crawling through the vents and dropping down on us. I'd rather know the entirety of the ship to better prepare ourselves for our defense in case it ever has to come to it.
Captain, are you telling me you want me to crawl through the vents and map them
Either that, or get someone to take scanners to it.
I'll see what I can do.
Appreciate it.
I guess I'll get to work on that now.
Don't work too hard. You're already doing a lot to keep this thing flying.
More so delegating, Captain.
Yeah, fair enough.
This will give me something to do. An excuse not to talk to people.
Good. Glad I could help.
Oh, pardon me, Captain.
Boss.
I don't understand.
There you go.
What are we watching?
We're watching someone eat a bowl of ice.
I came from the reactor room.
There is unexpected narcotics aboard the ship.
Don't look at
That
me.
is coffee.
Oh.
It's just caffeine.
Captain, this Dallas has requested up to 3 cups a day for their pulling a week-long all-nighter, they called it. So our coffee supplies to keep within terms of something that will last us. Everyone will be allowed 1 per day, unless it's on your request.
Understood. I actually need another of those caloric bars. Whatever you're calling them.
Ah, yes. It is getting about lunchtime.
Thank you, Chef.
Are you
A cereal bar.
OS
Look.
situation, Captain?
The what situation?
The operating system.
I was informed about it. I'm waiting for Archer to be up and operational again from his, well, adjustment to the cycles. I'd rather have 2 people working on it than 1.
I see.
Well, like I said, lunchtime if anybody's hungry.
Maybe a belly though.
Of course, the cereal block should be enough to take you through to dinner, in which we are having hot breaded fish, cube.
Can I have food?
Very well.
Yes.
You're awful, but it's sustenance. And that one man's 8 calories, so. Fuckers going through the fence of the fucking ship. Fucking love it. I can't watch that right now. It's too fucking good. Seeing him fucking crawl up from security. like a rat in a toilet. Oh God, I love it. Oh, that's too good. That's too good. Oh, I need to take a seat real quick. Oh, that's too good. Oh, excuse me. That's so funny. I love it. Alright, I should probably actually check Twitch. I have not been paying any attention to anything that I do. Any attention to anything that I do. I don't need to hear myself. I know what I'm saying. There we go. Richard Bisbee. Oh, cool. My friends follow me. How nice. Take a breather real quick. I'm having a great time. This is fun. Let me change my. Actually, I'm gonna put this on loop. I actually like this one. One came in here. I'm yawning. Anymore. It's just fucking Jasper. I love how this janitor. Oh, it's so good. Everybody's character is so fucking rich. I love it. Like, I don't think I've run into any of them that I actually dislike. I'm so used to this. The original map where this would just open by itself. Alright. I'm actually going to... Oh, that's what weird should do. I should put everything flush. I'd probably get lambasted for doing that, but... I will be right back. Because I actually need to use the facilities. Yep. There we go. Oh, my other hand didn't turn on, that's why. Eesh.
I have good news for you.
Oh?
I successfully mapped out the vents between engineering and security.
Thought I saw you crawling through it.
I fell through the roof.
I'm sorry. But at least you have one connection mapped.
Yeah. If you'll excuse me, I think I'm going to go continue to do so.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have done as you ordered. I got no doubts. They met with the head of engineering, another member of engineering with his large red skin orange.
Mm-hmm.
Spoke about a corporate patron that they all work for.
Interesting. A lot of former Martellos, then. Spoke with the red one before. It's the only one I can assume. It's also Martello, the most frequent. Interesting.
Argyle.
Word of wisdom. Do not call the chef's microwave anything but great.
Oh, you mean his microwave? I can't even say it right. Anything further, though?
They plan to have meetings in the head of engineering's room, along with being in the reactor room.
Interesting. Duly noted.
They spoke about concerns with the AI recording their conversation.
Interesting. I didn't think the AI recorded anything, but... Very well. Then, if that's the case... I appreciate it. Good work so far. I didn't expect results that quickly. But, credit where it's due. Excellent. Thank you. And as I said earlier today, please, when the time comes, use your room. Also, a different task I have for you. I want you to pick a name for yourself. This servant calling you that is not going to work with me. I want you to be an individual.
Then I will choose Siri. If you have already given it to me, it will be easiest for you to adapt to.
If that's what you choose, then so be it. But if not...
I don't see any reason why I should not.
Very well. Then Siri, thank you for all you've done thus far. Continue the great work.
I'll continue shadowing
Thank
Alice until they hire for the night.
Thank you. Oh. Cue Argyle into their meetings. He's the only other person I trust implicitly.
Cheers. Oh, Captain, made you a drink.
This wasn't put through the chef's microwave, was it?
No, I
No,
poured
I
it
saw
and
him
realized
pour
I'm a
him
member
out.
of security and shouldn't be drinking while I'm on my job. Water it
I'm the
is.
captain. I shouldn't be drinking on the job.
Argyle, may I speak? It's important.
Absolutely. Is this a private conversation?
Yes. It's about my abilities.
Understood. If you don't mind, we can go to my bunk and discuss there.
Perhaps they're in the training room.
Sure.
Speaking of the captain, maybe you should talk to him now.
Ah, Captain.
Ah, yes.
I just wanted to get your permission real quick. I don't know if our boss, Palas, has brought it to your attention just yet, but science doesn't have a specialist in AI technology. So if, forbid, something bad happens to our AI, none of us would be there to help it. So, some of us who are not, say, qualified officially to work with AI are looking to, well, learn more about our AI. So in case the off chance something bad happens to it, we would be there to, well, at least try and do something.
I see.
And I just wanted to get your permission, myself and a couple others, Chip and I believe one other, blanking on their name right now, wanted to get your permission to work with it at times. At least until we get someone who be able to work with the AI.
I'll think it over for a bit. It's... You have to understand, I'm very suspicious of artificial intelligence as is, so I don't want poking and prodding, especially with, as you said yourself, unqualified personnel working on it. Granted, as a boon as it is, I see the concern. But, time being, I'd rather keep it safe than sorry. It'll remain locked up for the time.
Understood.
Good.
Well, just want to bring that to your attention, and I'll relay that to the rest of my department.
Yes. Natalia, right?
Yes.
What's your specialities?
Ship subsystems, pretty much almost anything. I'm not good at disassembling things, but when it comes to mechanical upgrades, yeah, a bit of a broad spectrum. Is there anything specific you're looking for?
I'll upload them to your personal data disk, terminal, slate, whatever you use. I have a few things I would like put into my room, actually. Few runic inscriptions just to make me feel a little bit more at home. Make me connect with the ship.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Certainly do that.
Thank you for bringing this to my attention, Dallas. I'll keep an eye out on it.
Of course.
I'll keep my ear to the ground to see if we can find anyone who might be able to work on it eventually. Natalia, I appreciate your work if you could help me with that. It's a personal request.
Certainly.
So, I thank you both. I won't keep you.
Take care, Captain.
You both as well.
Actually, that gave me a question for you, actually. Do upgrades? You're able to upgrade?
No one's in here. Should probably ask if there's anyone that's fixed ability. Actually, ask Natalia. She was the one that said she's in charge of skilled in ship systems. Ugh. Galactic Common. Fucking hate it.
Alright then. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, if you need something like that done, I can certainly do it.
Cool. Well, if you
might need to run it through
your boss,
chief, but
yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll let him know. But did you need something, Captain?
No, I just wanted to ask. Natalia, have you run a diagnostics on the reactor?
I believe it was done by... wasn't myself. I think it was...
Brawl did that.
Brawl?
Good. Just have him uploaded to the system so I can look it over during my reports tonight.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Of course. All right. Well then, yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk later, and I'll let you know where I'll be working
Chef's not here with his microwave. I'm assuming everyone's downstairs. Actually, I can't keep still right now. I need to run. This fucking place. So. You would think for a small ship everyone would be in a similar area. I almost had a heart attack myself.
Captain, I heard you wanted some data.
Yes.
There you go.
Appreciate it, Thrall. Thank you for taking the time to get this to me. I wasn't expecting it until later. Thank you.
Oh no, I was just looking for you and past this saw you sitting in here.
Excellent.
There you are.
If you'll excuse
You needed a word?
Yes, it's quite important.
Then go on, out with it.
Captain, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, I know. I told them to inform you.
Is there a way we can bolt this door?
The door should be capable of this, yes. Could be on the panel over here.
Well, if I may make a suggestion, if this is for privacy matters, we can always use my room.
That would be best.
Then I will not bolt the doors.
After you both.
Thank you.
Of course. Holographic display. It'd be a waste of water otherwise.
I was going to say. A nice amenity.
Not my choice, honestly.
Thinking about it.
Captain, how secure do you feel your room is?
Well, we could always check real quick. Do you want me to have the AI do a sweep for anything?
Well, yes.
Alright. Give me a
Any
moment.
sort of bug or... After all, we are currently dealing with something very sensitive.
Computer. Please do a scan of my room for any, spy devices, listening, video surveillance, anything of the sort that was not sanctioned or licensed. And any that was, please inform me as well. Let's give it a moment. It should take it a moment or two to finish a sweep.
Beginning scan. For the most part, your room has been locked for the majority of the active hours of our cycles. I detect no improperly installed listening devices.
What about properly installed ones?
The EPA has saw fit to install a listening device within your data pad.
How very interesting.
It's not a large range microphone. It is simply using the base data pad's microphone within for you to record audio logs. However, it is set to be always recording. I have the audio files in my storage.
Well, I haven't been on the ship long enough for it to have anything good. Just a bunch of snoring. I only use this room to sleep. However, that being said, I'll be back in a moment.
Very well.
No one. Yes, Captain.
Excuse me.
Okay.
towards this crew.
By no means do I.
Good suggestion, Argyle.
I saw.
So it's my job.
I fully intend to do as my duty suggests. Ensure that this ship is secure, safe, and everything that entails. It's in my best interest that this ship survives its trip out and its trip home, with all of its crew intact.
Do you harbor any ill intention towards any of the mega corporations?
I will say that I am not entirely fond of, well, most of them. Ill intentions? Not really. I'm not exactly raising arms against any of them now, am I? Hell, I'm practically
I agree with...
fun.
After all, I have interacted with most of the mega corporations myself and found that most of them, besides the one that I work for, are less than savory. After all, part of my responsibilities has been to stop shatter runs against my mega corporation. Still, the captain had ordered an individual of security to tail a suspect aboard the vessel. And discovered something concerning. The individuals that are meeting aboard this vessel in secrecy, as they all seem to harbor the same ill intention and ill will towards one mega corporation, that being Martello. They appear to be meeting in secrecy, and are lying to additional crew members to ensure this secrecy.
Well, we don't know if lying is there. Can you even confirm that suspicion? All I know is they're meeting. That's what was told to me.
Lying I can confirm through Servant.
Or
Siri, as she's being called now.
How so?
The individual that they were tailing is Science Officer Dallas. He was informing everyone that he was to meet with Chief Engineering Mercer in the reactor room.
Makes sense, but...
Suppose it's not a full lie, but omission. Additionally, Engineer Grohl has also been spotted with a 3. It's also come to my attention that Officer Dallas is attempting to gain access to the AI.
That's where I actually drew my core suspicion afterwards. At first, I thought it was more of a meetings amongst the departments, getting things situated. Then, when Siri brought up the fact that they had concerns about the AI recording their conversations, that's when I became a bit suspect. In fact, Dallas actually confirmed my suspicions not too long after, and asked me for a request to access the AI core and start work on it in case of a emergency. But currently there's no reason to open it up. I told them I would think it over, but that almost confirmed all suspicions immediately.
Chief Gunch, did Officer Dallas yesterday offer to install additional security cameras for security?
He did indeed offer that. On top of offering his assistance today, should the need arise, solving any systems.
The reason I asked Siri to trail him was, one, I barely ever see the man, aside from when he wants to find me. But that I can always chalk up to a weird spiritual coincidence. What concerned me is, after you and I had our conversation and you brought up the fact that he asked about the security cameras, something that's technically not his department, that would be something we would approach them for. And even then, it's more of an engineer's job to install the hardware. Combined with the fact that he also is very insistent on upgrading the operating systems into Ions, and him creating the program, of course, without even consulting Archer on it first, one of our other cybersecurity experts. It all struck me as odd, so I had Siri tell him that's where this information came from. He seems incessant, almost like he wants to get involved. On paper, it looks good.
Now all this could mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
After all, anti-corporate sentiment is abundant, and most of it is justified. But in my experience, there are a few that take it a step further. Remember that our mission here with the UPI involves us going to the outer rim of the galaxy, farthest away from the interior. With that, the UPA has determined that they are trying to work with the megacorporations that wish to lend their assistance. And any damage to the megacorporations through our vessel will reflect poorly on the UPA.
Not to mention...
We have individuals on board who wish to start trouble with a megacorporation. That is fine. But they cannot be doing it aboard this vessel.
Agreed. I don't harbor any liking to many of the corporations. But anything that could anger them or draw their ire, they'll send shadow agents after us. Or they will try to recover their lost assets or bury us in litigation in some way, shape, or form. And it's all of us keelhauled. We cannot afford it. And that's just the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, they already have someone on board. Well,
worst case scenario is they sever ties with the UPA entirely. They form pacts against the coalitions. And now all of a sudden we're at war with a mega corporation.
Not to mention the sanctions that would come from it.
Here.
Heavy implications right on this. Okay. So, all the more prudent that we ensure beyond a reasonable measure of a doubt, or whatever that saying goes, that Dallas and them are not, or are, conspiring one way or another.
I don't really care about conspiring as long as it's not performed here.
Well, my point exactly. Whether they conspire against mega corporations, I could care less about. It's that they're doing it on this ship, the one that I'm supposed to, ensure
Protecting.
is safe.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Continue, our guy.
I've put down many Shadowrunners from the Martello Corporation, inflicting the damage on the Oracle as they saw fit. So no, I do not hold love for Martello or that mega corporation. But I would never compromise the integrity of this ship and its crew to enact petty revenge against a mega corporation. We have individuals on board that are doing this. It puts us all at risk.
Indeed. As I said at the very beginning, any crack in our frame spells death for everyone on board. And I will be damned if I lose good people just because some people want to enact some vengeance. Let Martello falter on its own accord. They always will. We don't need to be a catalyst. That being said, I think we all are aware of what we need to do. Keep our ears to the ground. Argyle, you and Siri work closely on this. You're our intelligence agents. Those who can get in close and quietly.
I will do my best. Officer Siri is currently on the case. Right now. Active.
Good.
I will do my part. I suggest we keep this as quiet as possible. If there are more conspirators...
I would suggest the exact thing. Very much keep this to ourselves for now. Lest either word gets out and they discover that we are onto them, or whether it spreads panic across the very ship.
It's still very early. People don't know each other well enough to trust one another. This alone could bring us down, regardless of if they even strike out at a corporation or not. This conspiring cannot be tolerated right now. We need to build our relations.
Either we can lay low and allow them to continue their operations aboard the vessel to see exactly what their true intentions are through Siri's method, or we take a more drastic approach. I think you understand what that means.
I do. But I think it's too early to do such a thing. Especially since that drastic approach would sow, well, distrust, fear, things we don't need so early on in the expedition.
It's true.
There's one very important piece of information that we all need to recognize. If Engineer Mercer is, in fact, working against the vessel, how did the UPA miss this? And
Agreed.
elect him head of engineering?
Well, thus far it seems that they've missed a lot. But whether or not that's I was already telling Gunch this. It seems like a lot of the errors we've encountered thus far seem like gross oversights. Far too much to be accidental. But we all know what we need to do. Gunch, I want you to have someone every once in a while patrolling down by the AI core, just to be safe that they aren't going in by force. Right now, Mercer and I are the only ones who have full access, and they need both of our codes to get in, as well as the biometrics.
Captain, as we know this is a secure location with no outside ears listening, might I make a suggestion that you allow myself and Chief Gunch access to your room?
Permission granted. I'm not in here much anyway, unless it's for sleeping, so you can use it as you see fit. Just if you see the data pad in here,
Additionally,
remove it.
If we're working with individuals who are both from science and engineering, it is likely that our communications could at one point become compromised. I suggest we come up with a code word to meet. Suggestion might be, would you like to get a blue drink?
I think that is benign enough to...
Agreed.
Though we might have to pick up a blue drink on the way there. Very well.
Ah.
Oh, good.
Siri, Come in. Anything else you have to report?
The only thing I noted was that Science Officer Dallas looking for Science Officer Tully.
Interesting.
Or they retired for the night. Tully had already also retired, so they did not have a chance to meet.
Excellent. Good work again. Well, I won't keep any of you here any longer. Siri, get some rest. You've done great work today. Argyle, Gunch? Seems we'll be getting a few drinks later.
So we'll see.
Well, I won't keep you from your rest. It was good to have you visit. It gets lonely every once in a while.
Thank you for your hospitality, Captain.
Of course. Maybe next time we'll crack open that bottle.
It's much appreciated. Could I show you my appreciation?
Sure.
Excellent. I'm grateful, really.
I don't know why everyone's complaining about. That's not that bad.
Please don't do that to me, Chief.
Rest well, Siri. Lot of work in the future now. Will not have my own pilgrimage to ruins.